when a company releases a product, it should be a near perfect experience. We shouldn't have to wait weeks or months for bugs and glitches and a generally broken game to be all patched up. But now we are finding out that while the Batman Arkham Trilogy has finally released on Switch that a lot of people were excited for, it seems extremely broken. I have a few different things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, follow me on social media, and consider supporting through Patreon or via YouTube memberships. Now, I know a lot of people were very excited for this. I personally was very excited for this because the Batman Arkham Trilogy was truly a fan-freaking-tastic experience that I would have loved to enjoy on my Nintendo Switch, but unfortunately, this is a game that has been surrounded in issues, and now that it has finally released, we can see that it is very buggy, very broken, and they have released it in an extremely poor state, and this, unfortunately, isn't very surprising because developers do this a lot. They rush to port things and just create games in general, and then when they finally release, they have problems. And I can totally understand a game having a couple of bugs, a couple of glitches at launch that can be easily patched, right? But when a game launches in this state, it is completely unacceptable. So Game Riot Army had put up a bunch of tweets about it. And there is some footage, and I have to tell you, this hurts me. This hurts my heart and my soul because I really wanted this to come out and to be good. So as you can see, as soon as you get into the Batmobile, it is horrific. We're looking at the driving in Arkham Knight here, and it is borderline unplayable, and unfortunately, it's not just the driving. This clip really highlights performance issues, but there's so many more small clips and videos floating around the internet of just combat that is stuttery and delayed and does not look like a fun, smooth experience. It just seems like they did an extremely shoddy job here, and they don't deserve to be easily let off the hook for it. Game Riot is saying, so Arkham Knight I would stay away from at least until it's patched. Arkham Asylum is pretty solid, but it's still not ideal. FPS heavily drops in combat, but Arkham City is actually pretty good and would recommend picking it up. Now, a big point that they made with this is that it is the trilogy, right? So you can go and you can buy it on the eShop or at a store for $60 in a bundle for all three of these, which is honestly a great price. They're supposed to be, you know, the equivalent of $20 each. Wouldn't be bad seeing as these Arkham games are absolutely phenomenal experiences, but you're also supposed to be able to purchase them individually, as he's pointing out, but currently for some reason they are not available on the Nintendo shop. I decided to take a look, and while the trilogy itself is up, it's $60, you can purchase it. The other ones are actually not currently available, so maybe they will be, you know, by the end of the day as it launched today, but it's kind of a little bit odd that the individual ones didn't launch, but at the same time, you know, a big reason for this is they were marketing that it's the trilogy and you can buy it, and it's supposed to be very exciting and very nostalgic, and I completely agree, right? I love the Arkham games, do not get me wrong, but there is not any way that I would financially support this bundle in its current state, and it's very clear that they knew that this game had problems, but they still decided to release it because it was actually supposed to release on October 13th, but then they had delayed it at the beginning of October to the beginning of December 1st, which is today when I'm recording this video, and they said more time is needed to bring players the best possible experience on Switch. We apologize to fans who are excited to play this version of the trilogy, and we thank you for your patience. So they clearly knew 2 months ago that the game was having some serious issues and that they needed more time, but this is what they think is the best possible experience for fans. It is an insult, and it's very sad, but this isn't very surprising because many games, especially ports, release buggy and broken and just not in a state where you should be paying for it. And it is so sad that they are doing such an injustice to such an amazing trilogy. Honestly, a pretty freaking perfect trilogy. I mean, if we go on over to Metacritic and we just look at the scores for the original releases of these games, Arkham Asylum on 360, 2009, a 92 critic and an 8.8 user. Arkham City, which was 2011, had a 94 critic and an 8.8 user. And then we have Arkham Knight, which was an 87 critic and an 8.1 user. So these have fantastic ratings, and I absolutely love these titles. But it is just so sad to see that they decided to release this trilogy in such a disastrous state. And many people are on social media now talking about this and just how disappointed they are. People are saying things like, yeah, it definitely looks like they needed some more work. Hopefully they'll have a big patch update ready to go, maybe soon. Yeah, I mean, it would be great if they could take some time and really patch it over the next couple of weeks. But again, there's still no way that it's worth $60 at launch. But is that even a surprise? Like, why do they insist on releasing huge games for an underpowered console? Yeah, I mean, the Switch does have its own problems, but at the same time, these are not, brand new AAA games, state-of-the-art graphics. It should be running pretty acceptably, and it's a little bit surprising, judging by who ported it. I mean, it was Turn Me Up Games who ported it, and they've done many titles in the past. As you're going to see, they have a slew of games that they've done. Of course, right at the top, they're promoting the Batman Arkham Trilogy they just did, but they did Wayfinder, they did It Takes Two, they did the port of that to the Switch, they did Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. They've also done the Borderlands Legendary Collection, Journey to the Savage Planet, Life is Strange to mobile. I mean, they have done a lot of stuff and they have been pretty good. I mean, most of those games were met with, very positive reception. So it just seems like maybe Warner Brothers Games really wanted them to push it out. Hey, maybe their teams fell behind, but at the end of the day, we still got a less than perfect product. And I would steer clear of these, at least for right now, until they're patched up, until they've put a lot more time, a lot of work, and a lot of effort into them. But it's just very sad to see that such legendary games were done so dirty. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this and of course found it important and informative, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.